Hi, and welcome again to Pearl Magazine. Tonight, a Mother's Day story that is also a tale of hardship. In Hong Kong, most single mothers bear the sole responsibility of raising their children, along with the financial burdens that come with it. While it may not be fair, it is reality. But the situation is much more difficult for foreign domestic workers who have children while they work here. On this Mother's Day, Ambrose Lee looks into the unique challenges for helpers with unplanned pregnancies and the difficulties they face in finding support during their time in need.
His name is Aishwin Shine, and then she's 7 months now.
27-year-old Alexandra Katoto came to Hong Kong in 2018 as a domestic helper, but she was made redundant 1.5 years into her 2-year contract. Upon being fired by her employer, she became an illegal overstayer, homeless and jobless. To complicate matters, she became unexpectedly pregnant 1 month later.
I tell to my boyfriend, yeah, I'm pregnant. I call, and then he said, it's not my baby. Yes, and then block me. I angry because I tell, and then she didn't accept her baby. If my baby come out, you can DNA test, but she said no.
Alexandra and her now ex-boyfriend met on a dating app and were in a relationship for 6 months. Once she was pregnant, he disappeared.
Every day I cry. Yes, most especially, I'm pregnant. So that's why I talk about my abortion because my family in the Philippines didn't know at first. I'm stressed. I changed my mind because this is my first baby. I think also to myself, this is a life. This one, she like the toys have sound like this.
During her pregnancy, Alexandra had neither income nor a place to stay. She moved twice before settling into this shelter run by an NGO. She was 6 months pregnant at this point.
You know, because I'm pregnant, it's difficult for me. I ride so many MTR, and then my tummy so heavy, and then I have my luggage, I have my pack bag.
The NGO that runs the shelter supported her with basic needs for giving birth, alongside some donated toys and clothes for her baby. Despite being settled, she is packing again and is ready to move back to the Philippines to raise her daughter with her mother.
Before, only my clothes, but this now, all my baby needs, like clothes, and also her milk, pampers, yeah, her bottle, yes, the shoes, all, the toys, and then her food also, the shampoo like that. I go back to Philippines, so I prepared.
The shelter is run by an NGO that has helped pregnant foreign domestic workers since 2008. CEO Catherine Gerton says it is difficult to quantify the issue's magnitude.
When we've asked the health authority for data on the number of migrant domestic workers who are still employed giving birth in Hong Kong hospitals, that data isn't publicly available. We can't access it. And of course, even if we could, that doesn't account for the workers who get fired and return home or overstay because they're fearful of going home.
Catherine says that the NGO supported just over 1,100 women and children last year, but she says that that's just the tip of the iceberg.
But if you were to take 2% of the 400,000 currently, you're talking about 8,000 cases a year. So it's not insignificant.
Catherine says that love scams and a lack of reproductive health knowledge contribute to the unexpected pregnancies of migrant domestic workers.
When the pregnancy is announced or discovered, that partner, that man's not there. He vanishes and then leaves this mother and fundamentally the child in a very desperate situation.
At the shelter, Alexandra met 4 other mothers just like herself.
When I moved in, all ladies there welcoming you. I really feel comfortable for there, yes. And then Every one of her, have own problems. So we talk each other like that.
She says that having a roof over her head and a support community have helped put her mind at ease. They look after each other's children if they need to head out, and their children also have some playmates. They also cook and eat together on a regular basis.
Other women that are in similar situations, you have that level of empathy. If someone has decided to give their child up for adoption, there is a sort of a psychological component of that and wanting to sort of provide some care and support around that time. We have had situations where there's been levels of sexual violence and abuse, and again, that sense of recovery without judgment and prejudice.
The law stipulates that foreign domestic helpers cannot be dismissed because of pregnancy. They are protected from termination until the end of the statutory maternity period. Employment and immigration lawyer Adam Hugill says terminating a helper's contract due to pregnancy is not only unreasonable but unlawful, which will lead to civil and criminal consequences.
They have the same rights as any other employee, which would be 14 weeks maternity. Domestic helpers that have been employed for more than 40 weeks continuously are entitled to maternity pay, and maternity pay is 80% of the usual wage.
He also says that employers are required to ensure the working environment is safe for the pregnant domestic helper.
And employers should make necessary adjustments to facilitate that and possibly obtain medical advice if there are any complications, especially if the helper needs to, say, carry children or do anything else which is strenuous, or work with certain chemicals, or possibly even with pets in the household.
Actually, this is the employer's bad dream. Why they have to employ domestic helper? Because they need someone to help them. But now you give the family another burden.
Betty Young says that pregnancy makes it difficult for helpers to perform their duties and puts pressure on the employers.
Most employees in Hong Kong, they cannot afford to employ a replacement for the pregnant domestic helper. They cannot afford to employ two domestic helpers. Most families have small flats. The home does not allow the employer to employ one more maid.
At the moment, the 14-week maternity leave starts 2 to 4 weeks before the date of birth. Betty hopes that the government will allow domestic workers to start their maternity leave earlier so that they can go back to their home countries and give birth there.
If she can give birth to her baby at home, in their homeland, then the domestic helper can be looked after by their parents, by their husband. The employer do not need to worry for this domestic helper at home. Just like suddenly she miscarried and maybe she got an accident.
She adds that it's not always a deadlock situation. Some employers and helpers might have developed a good relationship that allows them to reach a settlement with which both parties are happy.
This is the lobster. She's always excited to go to the wet market. Every time that we saw some seafood, we always have to stop there and then I just take a look at it.
Layden Saulin's 2-year-old daughter was born in Hong Kong and lives here. On this day, they're together as Layden shops for her employer.
Oopsie! I could see her every day, how she grows. So even though that how stressful or challenges that I'm facing, I think it's still thankful that she's still here with me. And then at the same time, I could take care of her and work while working.
The father of Layden's daughter was her boyfriend for 8 years from the Philippines. They have since broken up.
At first, when I found out that I was pregnant, of course, I think about first thing is my job and how could I do this when I'm pregnant.
She was scared to tell her employer at first, not sure how they would respond.
Whatever outcome will be, it will be, but for me, I just have to keep my baby. I openly told them that my situation is. And then once I told to my employer, she was, of course, surprised. And then she's so happy about it and congratulate me. But after that, we have an one-on-one and talk about it. What is my future plan? just have to bring our picnic mat to sit around on the grass so that she could run around.
Bubbles. My bubbles.
Picnic time is not complete if there's no bubbles for her. That
Leiden's mother, Remy Saulen, is also a domestic helper in Hong Kong and sometimes helps look after her granddaughter.
Oh, granddaughter is a big joy. She makes me feel young and healthy, and I feel more beautiful in my life. I need to support her, whatever it may come.
While Leiden enjoys spending time with her child, she recognizes the rarity of her situation.
I think this kind of situation here in Hong Kong is not that very common, that your daughter was around while working like that.
Adam Hugill says that employers are not obliged to provide living space for the helper's child.
The helper should make her own arrangements for her child's care, and as far as possible, they should try for that not to impinge upon the employer's livelihood. The important thing to advise an employer is they should approach the helper in a very kind and genuine way and open a conversation with them.
This is my first Mother's Day. I wish she accept, that she no father. If she grow up, she asks me, Mama, where is my father? I don't know why. What I tell to her.
Always, I just wishing her just happiness all the time. Most important as well, her health, that she keep on being strong and healthy.
As a mother, you know, when your kids are happy, you're also happy.
After the break, how new technology is improving care for the elderly in senior care homes. Stay with us. Welcome back. For many of us, high-tech gadgetry is quickly becoming a must-have in our homes. But new technology is also becoming a vital tool to improve the way we care for the elderly. From cameras and sensors to monitors and alerts, elderly care homes are using AI and the Internet of Things to make senior care better and safer.
In Hong Kong, more than 150,000 elderly persons are living alone. Because of the pandemic, they receive very few visitors, if at all. Family and social workers can't visit as often due to social distancing measures, so they face greater health risks.
The organization we work with sends volunteers to visit this elderly woman 3 times a week. To be honest, the volunteer leaves once she is finished with her meal and her heart rate is measured. No one knows what may happen to her afterwards.
A smart sensor developer says as the city's population ages, senior citizens who live alone will become a major social issue. The developer started creating a smart sensor and established a monitoring system for the elderly who live alone.
If you have that close to your bedroom, we know when you're going to bed. We know when you wake up. We also know how often you have moved during the night. So we can tell you if it's a quiet night or not quiet night. We can tell you if you snore, if the light level is low enough, because it's very important for the circadian circle of sleep that you have very low light for your body to regenerate. Also, is the sound okay? I mean, the sound level, is it silent enough? Should you sleep with earplugs, or is it okay the way you sleep?
Data collected by these sensors will be sent to a cloud storage via 4G or Wi-Fi network. Then the user's daily routine, such as how much time is spent watching television, cooking, and showering, will be analyzed by AI.
When you take a shower, You have normally hot water falling. You have humidity rising, and you have sound. And you have also a little bit of CO2 because when you are inside a closed room. So you will see humidity changing, temperature changing, CO2 changing, sound, etc., etc. So this is the kind of detection we can do.
Unlike other video recording monitoring devices, this system has 16 different sensory functions. When installed at different places, they will be able to tell how the user is doing by detecting the temperature, relative humidity, air pressure, CO2 concentration, sound and light intensity, color, even the direction of movement. Every move of the elderly person is analyzed.
Elderly persons have very, very regular rhythm. And if you see something changing in this rhythm, then you could say, maybe we need to ask a question. Why haven't you been to the park? Why are you sleeping badly? From our data, you can know that.
Due to privacy concerns, the monitoring system does not have a video recording function. There are also special arrangements to protect the subject's privacy.
A lot of people talk about privacy by design. I very often talk privacy by hardware. We have some hardware filters, meaning a set of resistors, which totally limit the bandwidth of the signal. We don't want to instantly measure what people are doing. This is not a spy. You can be sure that even if anyone could put a special software on it, the hardware would not allow that. Everything is encrypted.
An alarm function has not been installed. This is because the market already has products that cater to this need. And they also wanted to make sure their sensors were affordable.
Remember, these sensors, they are quite cheap. Even if you have so many sensing inside, they are very affordable. When I say very affordable, this is the average price, I would say, is €50 or 500 Hong Kong dollar.
The developer is working with different social welfare organizations to install the system for the elderly living alone. Samuel says this could alleviate some of the pressure on the carer, but the system is not a replacement for care by the family or society.
More importantly, it's the joint participation of the child or the carer and the elderly persons. With data collected and the help of social workers, doctors, as well as people in society, we can understand how difficult living alone can be.
This care home has 80 elderly residents. They're looked after by about a dozen carers and health workers in 2 shifts. It's not easy to tend to everyone 24/7, and urgent matters in the early hours might not be discovered immediately. During the pandemic, family members couldn't visit their loved ones at the home. Because they missed their family so much, some old folks managed to leave without notice.
When residents leave and don't return, we don't know whether it's because it's not time yet or they can't find their way back. When they don't tell us before leaving, we get very worried, particularly those with dementia.
Law Wai Kai says to reduce the risk of accidents, the home has decided to equip itself with smart devices.
Once the system is installed, the pressure on manpower is relieved a lot. For example, when we're doing room rounds, we don't need to spend extra time on counting the number of residents. There is an alarm if they're absent. Most importantly, we know which direction they've gone.
Residents wearing an RFID tag can be tracked when they come within a 3 to 5 meter radius of the RFID sensor. The system simultaneously alerts staff members and makes a record of the residents passing through. All 6 entrances of the care home have the sensors. Apart from old people getting lost, accidents can happen at night in the dark. A bedside infrared monitoring system has been installed to keep staff informed of what residents are up to.
The screen shows images of people. The red light here means that I'm in bed. The temperature is lowered when I leave the bed right now. Let me demonstrate. As I move slowly, the difference in temperature is starting to show. The red light is off now. We use this to detect whether residents have left their beds and to tell staff members. That's our show for this week. Next time, how local farmers are trying to get their produce on our tables and the obstacles they face. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.